Former employees share horror stories, midnight meltdowns she'd call at 1 a.m., demanding rewrites, red carpet rage. She yelled that bad lighting made her look like a politician, not a princess, and a Paris PR disaster. She ignored warnings not to film near the Diana crash site, then blamed the team when backlash hit.
All right, let's unpack this circus. Because honestly, the Meghan Markle Soho House comeback saga feels like a bad sequel to a film no one really asked for. Once again, she's in the headlines, but this time not for a glittering Hollywood deal or a Netflix blockbuster. No, apparently Meghan's big new offer is to become a global ambassador for Soho House. Yes, the same swanky members club where she first met Prince Harry.
Developing today, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle rejected by the A-list as a shocking new offer emerges for her to return to being a Soho House girl. And there is very much something in Meghan Markle's development which I think is encapsulated by regression. Everything is a regression. She had so many opportunities. And of course, in recent weeks, that regression has involved Marcus Anderson, the Soho House guy who first introduced Harry and Meghan, being involved in everything to do with her relaunch, to be involved in Meghan Markle 3.0. And that's where the Soho House link comes in. And let me just take you through this reporting from Shooter Scoop, who writes, "She's back where it all began." Shooter Scoop can reveal that Meghan Markle has been offered a cushy new position as global ambassador for Soho House, the ultra-exclusive members club, where she famously had her first date with Prince Harry. It's a full circle moment, an insider dishes. Soho House was her sanctuary long before royalty. Now she's their secret weapon to stay relevant. Once synonymous with A-list chic, Soho House has lately battled backlash and dwindling buzz. Insiders say Meghan's been tapped to modernise the magic and rebrand the club's image for a new generation. While details remain hush-hush, sources say the Duchess's role would include hosting empowerment salons and social impact soirees from Malibu to Mayfair. She's not just shaking cocktails, a London PR insider laughs. She's shaking up the brand. Still, not everyone's buying the spin. One longtime member scoffs, ambassador sounds glamorous. But what does that really mean? It could just be a title and a tab. But love or loathe her, Meghan's name still pulls focus. If anyone can make elitism sound inclusive again, says one royal watcher, it's Meghan Markle. And that's the ultimate brand reboot. Now, of course, this offer comes after Meghan Markle quite specifically leaked to her favourite members of the press that she had used Soho House in New York to meet up with A-list friends Ed Sheeran and Serena Williams during her most recent trip to the Big Apple. So Brittany, editor of the Royal News Network with me now, I just think this is awful for all involved. I think it's awful and desperate for Soho House. But I think it's far more awful for Meghan Markle because, of course, this is the type of thing that she never thought that she was even going to have to countenance, Brittany. The idea that she would ever have to sort of go cap and hand back to Soho House was mortifying. But back in the day, Brittany, back in her early days, she was totally reliant on Soho House to pay for her travel, to pay for her accommodation. And it's so cringe that it's like she almost feels she might need that again.
It's so strange. And Dan, there is nothing, I think, a bigger fall from grace really, or fall from, let's say, the most exclusive and elite to the most mundane. And that is going from the balcony of Buckingham Palace to shilling as a global ambassador for Soho House. I mean, that is a taking of extreme measures. But Meghan has always had this very, very strange fascination with Soho House very much this weird obsession with it. And I think she thinks it gives her some sort of status. It really doesn't. I don't think anybody beyond a handful of people care about Soho House and its exclusivity at all. I mean, technically, there is a members process, but really anybody can apply if they have the money. So this is not something that's really all that exclusive. And at the same time, as well, you have this idea from Soho House that Meghan is somehow going to bring in a younger generation. Meghan Markle does not appeal to the younger generation. She tends to appeal to people who are like her age. So older millennials and Gen X, those sorts of people. Those are her crowd. And she also listens to like old-timey music and these sorts of things. And so I just don't think she has even sort of the young spin to really even bring people in. That's maybe a Hailey Bieber or Selena Gomez, Taylor Swift, somebody like that. Meghan Markle does not hit those crowds very well. And I just don't think she would be really any help to the Soho House at all, because we all know it's not like.
And while the PR line painted as some full circle empowerment moment, royal insiders and commentators are calling it for what it is: regression, a fall from grace. From the balcony of Buckingham Palace to the cocktail bar of Soho House, let's just say the optics aren't great. According to reports from Shooter Scoop, Soho House, which has been losing relevance lately, is tapping Meghan to modernize the magic and help rebrand the club for a younger generation.
Marrying into the royal family. So she has a bit of a cachet as a pseudo royal, but at the same time, not really. But of course, Meghan Markle always willing to grift for a paycheck. So that is what she will do.
Yeah, I find this one mortifying for her, actually, because this is the whole thing, Brittany. It's like, wow, you had this opportunity. You had this opportunity to be so elevated, to change the world, but you're just right back as a basic bitch influencer. I mean, I think of her time with Millie McIntosh, right? Who is not being horrible, but, you know, a basic bitch, run-of-the-mill, made in Chelsea influencer who she used to be great mates with and turned up at Soho House farmhouse. And that's where Meghan then decided to, you know, do her, I think it was her bridal shower and her hen party. But there's something so sad about this. It's like Soho House is just so meaningless. It is so yesterday, but it's not even about that. It's like you could be doing so much with your life, but this is where you've ended up. There is almost something, though, sort of that's running parallel between their two brands as well, though, Brittany. It's like these are brands past their peak, as you say, aging, and just not cool anymore, and probably impossible to ever be seen as cool again.
The idea is that she'll host empowerment salons and social impact soirees across Malibu and Mayfair. Sounds fancy, right? Except critics are already laughing it off as desperate PR spin. Even longtime members are shrugging. One reportedly said, "Ambassador sounds glamorous. But what does that even mean? It could just be a title and a tab." Translation: a free membership and some selfies. There's a sense of tragic repetition. A woman who keeps circling back to the same PR formulas, the same overmanaged glamour.
Yes, and you would have to sort of revamp, I would guess, Soho House's branding overall to maybe make it more appealing to the younger generations. But people are moving in different directions at this point. Even influencing overall is sort of seeing a decline because people are sort of recognizing and becoming aware that most of this stuff, like Harry and Meghan's pumpkin picking, is just fake. It's just there for the cameras and that's it. It's just play acting so that you can get content. And I think people are wanting more out of the people who they follow. They want something more interesting. And Meghan Markle is just not that person. At her heart of hearts, Meghan Markle is shallow, vain, and vapid. That is always who she's been. Since marrying into the royal family, I think she's tried to portray herself as a woman of depth, but time has revealed who Meghan Markle truly is. And she was always that shallow, vain, and vapid person that was on Suits, that did the TIG, also on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, but now back to doing influencing because that's her level, but also she has not evolved in the last 10 years at all, and is trying the same basic tactics that worked maybe 10 years ago, but are not working now, which is why her growth is completely and utterly stagnant at this point. She needs a rebrand herself. But again, Meghan Markle to herself is sort of perfect. So she doesn't need the rebrand in her mind, but I just can't see her succeeding. And Soho House, maybe they will, but they need probably an overhaul. And I don't know enough and I don't care enough to know what they need to do. But they're both fading brands. And I think they definitely have that in common with each other.
Once a Soho House basic bitch, always a Soho House basic bitch. But look, this reporting from News Nation won't please Meghan at all either. It's from the very well-connected royal insider Paula Frolic, who reports Meghan and Prince Harry snubbed by A-listers. This is what she reports, Brittany. Meghan and her hubby, Prince Harry, may aspire to be Hollywood royalty, but the A-list isn't interested. While the two may find themselves at events with actual elite members of the red carpet crowd, no one wants their photos taken for posterity with the erstwhile nobles. A-listers snub Meghan, Prince Harry. At last week's Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit, Meghan gave a garbled speech in which she talked about financial independence, the evils of social media, and despite neither her nor Harry seemingly working very hard, the importance of work-life balance. Also at the summit was former Vice President Kamala Harris, but you won't find any photos of the two online. Kamala pulled a Gwyneth. One insider said when Meghan flew to the G9 Ventures Business Summit in the summer of 2024, she was snapped with and her bestie Misha Nonu and makeup maven Bobby Brown, but not Gwyneth Paltrow, Reese Witherspoon and Diane Sawyer, who were also at the event. At the time, a source told me A-listers know that if they are in a picture with Meghan, it is a tacit approval of her that she can use to promote herself, my insider told me. Meghan can show up at events where they are at, move into their neighborhood, but they are not friends. This year, Paltrow claimed to people she and Meghan have a text friendship in an attempt to quell feud rumors, but still, no pies have been exchanged in person.
The same need for validation. The irony is that the more Meghan tries to control her narrative, the more out of control it looks. And honestly, it's not even about hating Meghan. It's about watching someone who had every opportunity to evolve, but never did. As one former staffer said bluntly, she hasn't grown in 10 years. So yes, maybe the Soho House move is a full circle moment, but not in the way her team hopes. It's not evolution. It's a return to the starting line, proof that the royal rebel has turned back into the influencer she once was.
As I reported, elite Hollywood players don't want to be seen taking Harry or the Duchess of Sussex's side in the family fracas, and ultimate A-listers Taylor Swift shook off the Duchess of Sussex several times. As for Harris, perhaps she just didn't want to be photographed with someone whose approval ratings are even lower than hers. And that's saying something. But look, Brittany, to me, what this is much more about is schedules. And hear me out on this, because I do not believe it was a coincidence that Kamala Harris was scheduled on a different day than Meghan at the Fortune Summit, because you know how these things work. And you know that absolutely, the advisors to Kamala, who, by the way, I think are delusional anyway, but genuinely believe that she is going to be the next Democratic nominee to run for president, of course they don't want her pictured with Meghan Markle, and they don't even want her on stage at the same time. And so there is a lot of choreography that goes into these conversations behind the scenes, but it's where the people working for the other celebrities say to Fortune, okay, who else is on? Okay, you've got Meghan Markle. That's not great. Okay, we're not going to put her on the cover of the event. Did you see that? She wasn't even featured on that main front page. What time is Meghan on? Okay, make sure I'm on either hours later or the next day. Definitely, that they are conversations that go on regularly behind the scenes, because that's the job of these handlers. I mean, it's a horrible world, but that is the job of these celebrity and political handlers, to make sure that they are not toxified by a brand like the Markle brand.
Yes, you have to remember as well, Dan, that right now Hollywood itself is failing pretty
Yeah.
miserably. The top movie at the box office this weekend was an anime film. And so the big Paramount film that they were hoping would do fairly well was second or third, I think, actually third. And so you have this situation where Hollywood itself is starting to really, really tank, and there is no such thing as a movie star anymore. And all these factors together means that you already have a brand itself as an entertainer that's sort of fading from the spotlight of Americans. And so the last thing you want to do is hang out with somebody who's even more toxic and terrible than that. And that is Meghan Markle. She does nothing for your brand. All she brings is toxicity. When you associate with her, all the news people want to do is ask you about her. So if you're a celebrity and you're just trying to navigate this failing industry that is Hollywood, the last person you want to associate with is Meghan Markle. Yes, maybe your name gets in the papers for a hot second, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem to go very, very well. So as this industry that Harry and Meghan have decided to jump onto is shifting, you can just feel the A-listers themselves or the people whose star is fading definitely shifting away from Harry and Meghan overall. They don't add anything. Meghan especially adds nothing. And she doesn't have a talent. She hasn't really had a success yet. And so there's just no real point in associating with her. That's why she couldn't get any big guests on her show. Nobody wants to be part of the Meghan Markle bandwagon.
And especially given, Brittany, the repercussions in terms of her bullying go on because of the latest departures from her staff. I want to take you to some reporting from Rob Shooter, who says that she has now been branded the boss from hell. And he writes 10 PR pros in 5 years and counting. Meghan Markle's latest communications director, Emily Robinson, has become the newest casualty in the Sussex spin cycle. She's impossible, says one ex-staffer. Every headline, every comma, Meghan has to approve it. Push back and you're gone. Former employees share horror stories. Midnight meltdowns, she'd call at 1 a.m., demanding rewrites. Red carpet rage. She yelled that bad lighting made her look like a politician, not a princess. And a Paris PR disaster. She ignored warnings not to film near the Diana crash site, then blamed the team when backlash hit. Sources say Harry tries to play peacemaker, but no one can keep up with her expectations. One insider put it bluntly, it's not a PR problem, it's a Meghan problem. And look, Brittany, I know we're spoken overall about what a boss from hell she is, but it's just so interesting hearing those specific details from the former staff members, isn't it? Calling at 1 a.m., demanding a rewrite, yelling that the bad lighting made her look like a politician, not a princess. I mean, and then blaming the staff for what happened with Princess Diana when she never listens to very good instruction. And I think it's sometimes that color that I find most fascinating.
There's a fine line between reinvention and repetition. Meghan Markle seems stuck on the wrong side of it, trapped in a loop of self-branding, surrounded by fewer friends, smaller deals, and a louder echo chamber. If the Soho House ambassadorship is her next act, it's less a comeback and more an admission. The A-list chapter has closed, and Meghan is back to being exactly what she started as, the girl with a glossy smile, a PR pitch, and a seat at Soho House. Only this time, the world isn't watching with curiosity, it's watching with pity. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think or what you want to see next.